only, yeah, like toilet paper is our go-to.
I love getting my hair cut, especially when there's a scalp massage involved.
But she would say, your body is a temple and you need to take care of it.
We have a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, where he just ate garbage. How long was that? A year?
Do this. I can't do this without Cassie and the kids enabling me to do this.
I find myself encouraging myself, so I'm like, no, you can do this. Don't give up.
We got lots to say.
I love my husband so much and my son. I had a baby. Her name is Isla.
I want to see the baby. I've definitely had multiple drinks on multiple episodes.
Loosen up.
It's a podcast. We're here to have fun, so enjoy yourself. Yeah, every time.
Yeah. Jenna just starts rambling on, and then, hello everyone. And then Colin's like, we're just gonna record this.
Yeah,
content.
you start. I was like, you know what? We're into the conversation now. Yeah. We didn't even realize it. So,
it could be so subtle, if only for the fact that it.
Yeah, the big countdown on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a visual distraction. Anyways, I was having this, to summarize more or less, having this conversation with my mom about the state of the economy and how it baffles me so much. Was I reading this? Okay, I want to read this. Tell me if you read it before or if I've read this before, and I apologize if I have. Okay. My parents bought their house in 1976. We've had conversations like this in the past, so this is why I'm worried that I'm repeating myself.
But it's good because we'll just reframe the conversation anyway.
Yeah. So they bought their house in 1976 for $58,000. In 2022 dollars, that would be $279,160. So it's like very much
today
in 2022 dollars. So post-pandemic.
2022, and what was the value?
279,161. So it's like a specific number. Clearly,
That's weird. Yeah.
They've done the math off of a percentage, I'm guessing. Right? Okay, so their 2022 assessment valued the house at, drum roll.
Time out.
Okay.
I'm getting confused. I thought you just said what it was valued at.
They did. Sorry, I didn't backstory this. They did, like, according to what the market was then, if all there was inflation.
That's what it should be.
I don't know.
Worth.
I don't know if it's just inflation. I see what you're saying. But if dollar value, dollar per dollar, then dollar per dollar in 2022, so 76 to
like a linear sort of, yeah.
Yes, the value should be 279,000. However, the assessment in 2022 assessed
what it would
their
actually
house
cost you
at like what the price actually is today.
Good Lord.
Today being 2022, $2.09 million. And so
yeah, the real problem is that we're putting fucking avocado on toast, guys.
And we're getting Starbucks too often.
Good Lord.
If only we didn't get Starbucks once a week.
You know, I was thinking about that today. I was going for a walk, and I just have a backpack with some weights in it to get ready for camping.
Nice.
And I remember walking, there's this house on Kildare, and the sign, there was a for sale sign on the front lawn where the realtor puts their face. It said new price. So I was like, oh shit, I want to see what this is at.
What is new price?
I don't know if I'll ever get to see the old price, but the new price was
there's a couple apps that might reveal that info. I'm fairly certain Cassie has her hands on, so she might tell.
Yeah, she probably does.
Yeah.
I don't know what the old price is, like I said, but it's a 3+1 bedroom, 4 bath.
Okay.
It's listed at
4 bath. Holy moly.
2,000 to 2,500 square feet.
Okay.
And it's been on Realtor for 78 days, but it's listed at $899,900.
That's new price.
That's the new price. It's a beautiful house. It's like a 2-door
that
garage.
Is beautiful. Yeah,
like it's
a
really
big.
nice. Let's
it's
try
a
to get this.
monstrosity.
It's fun. Yeah, it's sweet. It's on a busy road though, which is not nice.
Which is maybe why it's not selling.
And it's fucking $8,000 in property taxes, which seems to me really high. But
that's incredibly high.
I see this on the.
And you guys pay for garbage bag tags, don't you?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
I mean,
I feel like anywhere where you're paying like $5,000 plus in property tax a year, why are we paying for garbage bag tags as well? Like, that's crazy talk to me.
Yeah, it's insane.
Again, clearly I don't understand economics, you know?
There is a daycare and a school a block away from this house.
Okay, so like,
but like
very attractive.
Your proximity to the social service shouldn't unless it's an emergency service.
Okay.
And you're like an unreasonable distance away, then it makes sense that your taxes would be lower.
Okay.
But I can't imagine the house, 3 blocks away. It's not really further from the school or the daycare.
Totally. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're going to pay the same amount of taxes anyway. I don't know.
The summary of this, I'll call it a meme that I read, was, I don't think getting married at 34 instead of 24 is the reason my generation can't buy homes. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was thinking.
Because it's, I don't know can you math this? Like,
what am I mathing?
So if it should have been, if the increase in value should mean that the house is valued at $279,000, but it's assessed at $2.09 million, what is that percentage rate? Or, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Give me a second here. Well, I would actually take a hit eventually. I wouldn't say I do this every time, but to recalibrate the housing market.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would take a loss on the sale, not a loss, but like a lesser profit. Do you know what I mean?
You being
so that my kids might have a chance to afford a house in the future. Okay. You know what I mean?
And I think, I'm That's sure like some people are doing this kind of thing. If you bought your house 20 years ago and it's paid off or next to paid off, and your kids are looking to get into the housing market, and you can sell it to them on the low end, like the low end of that spectrum, and give them a foot in, that's huge. That is huge. Because, I mean, I don't want to say it's obvious, but at this point in time, the interest rates are decent. I don't know if I should say that. Like, they've been better, but they've been worse. And so, considering the interest rate and how much your house would be, what your monthly payment would be, or however you break that down, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, blah, blah, blah. Like, you want it to be not your whole paycheck, but...
Yeah, we're upside down on all that logical, like, this is how much you should be spending for this and this and this kind of thing.
Oh, for sure.
Real quick question. 2.09 million. That's 2,090,000?
Yes.
Okay. You've done something wrong. Carry on the conversation.
I was going to say, I'm giving you a moment of silence to produce mathematicals, because I need silence when I do math. Um, but what was I gonna say? Oh, my mom was reminding me that interest rates in the 80s, I believe. I can't remember if it's early 80s or late 80s, but she said interest rates went up to like 18%, some higher, some lower, like depending on
Yeah.
lenders or banks or whatever. Um, but then Jordan enlightened me and said at that same time, you could put money into a specific savings account, and he'll have to, I don't want to say correct me, but like add, add the specific type of savings account. But he said you could put that in like high yielding savings, and then the interest rate was like 25%. So you could be making, say, a mortgage payment and a half. Like pay for your mortgage, take half that amount, put it in your savings, and then the yield on that savings over the same period of time would help you pay off your house faster.
Oh, okay.
If you were smart with your money.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could easily pay off your house in half the amount of time, even though the interest rates were high. I feel like all of this shit is stacked against us now. Like the prices are unreasonable. The interest rates are, like I said, decent at this time, but just 2 years ago, insane. Like people are upside down on their houses in a lot of places. I was reading an article about this one house today. They're taking a $750,000 loss on it.
Oh.
And it's like a multitude of factors, but they bought at the wrong time and they're selling at in a buyer's market. So there's just like a lot of not so great things that are sometimes unavoidable.
Oh, fuck me, I'm dumb.
Sorry, what's that?
Keep going. I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Every time I say sorry, I don't want to say it too loud. My phone thinks I'm talking to it.
Oh, yeah.
The SIRI.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to say it. Anyway, so apparently I pronounced those two things very similarly. Anyway, I don't want to like be on this train of depressing economics every episode, obviously. So I will move on. But if anybody has any tips for like how to better organize savings and whatnot in this time, that's like actually feasible, not like get into the stock market, let's flip stocks or whatever. Like we would greatly appreciate that, and we would love to hear from anybody who has the time to talk to us about it, to be honest. And I'm just like having a quick look. Is this 116?
This stresses me out. These numbers are so big.
116. There we go. The numbers are so big. Uh-oh.
So $279,161.
Yeah.
Is 381% more. This can't make any sense. Yeah.
So if it's sorry. 381% to get to 2.09 million.
No.
Oh, okay.
So from 1976 to 2022.
Oh, that's a 300 and something percent increase.
381% increase from 1976 to the suggested retail value of $279,000, right?
Which is already enormous, no?
Well, I mean, it really is like 3.8 times.
Okay. More. When you break it down that way, it sounds like pennies.
If I do 58,000 times 3.81, I get 220. Like.
Okay, so somewhere in there.
It's somewhere around there. I don't know.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense. And this is using like a lot of Google to help me. Okay. These numbers are so big. The 2.09 million is 3,500% increase.
How is that even possible?
I don't even know.
So okay.
Yeah,
50, that's crazy.
It's insane. It's insane.
That's crazy.
And again, like I had to, how much more in percent is 2.09 million from 58,000? That's what I put
Nice.
into Google just to make sure, because I was like, these.
You're like, this can't be right. It's
That's
impossible,
that's
but
what's
it is.
shocking about it, is how staggering.
You're like, it's unbelievable.
Like
Quantities. Yeah.
the inflation value of the home should have been $280,000, but
Yes.
because of all this made
These
up crap,
times.
these times,
And
the
that's not
days of our
even
lives.
like mid-tariff era that we are in. We're
No,
in, like,
man. I don't like you said, I don't know what I don't do economy very well. I just like I have no way to figure out how to, because in my mind, like, the economy is going to go up and down all the time anyway.
totally.
And
And it generally trends upward over time.
And I do see articles and stuff about how maybe we're coming into a particularly historical downturn in the economy. But I don't know.
Not like Great Depression era, are we?
I've seen at least one sort of putting it at that, but making it sound worse almost, because
if you calculated, so in the same way that we calculate percentages upward just now, if you were to calculate that back down, we wouldn't be at zero. Like, I feel like in the Great Depression, they lost everything. Like, there was, for some families, $0 left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now, if we did the same math backwards, there would still be something left. It would just be broke AF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't afford. I see what you're saying now.
And the 2008?
Mm-hmm.
Recession was caused by a real estate snafu. I don't know what else to call it.
Oh, pardon me. Did you watch The Big Short?
Big Short. Sounds familiar. Yes, we saw it in the theaters.
Yeah, where he's like, no, that's the Wolf of Wall Street. The Big Short. Who's in there?
Big Short is
Christian Bale.
Yes.
Steve Carell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ryan
Jordan
Gosling's
and I saw that for sure.
That basically is the story of that happening.
Yeah.
All the banks defaulting and.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate it was.
Well, it echoes what you said, because one of the characters in that movie was a guy named Dr. Michael Berry.
Okay.
Barry for sure. I'm pretty sure it's Michael.
Okay.
And he recognized what was going on. He saw the pattern. He knew it was going to burst, and he tried to tell people. They weren't listening. So he played the market like any other investor would do. And he had people hounding him to be like, you got to sell, you got to do this, you got to do this, whatever.
Right.
He made so much money during the recession. So it's like you said, like, some people go down to zero, but not everything went to zero.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out if you're able to see what's happening and you can sort of read the tea leaves, you can maybe even make some money.
Oh, dude, it's I don't know how you would, like, you'd have to be quite a savvy economist, I think, to be able to predict any sort of thing like that happening. Like, yeah, watching the trends is a big one. And that was something that was trending over, I don't want to say a lengthy period of time, but like a decent amount of time. And if anybody can read the tea leaves today, I mean, all the power to them, because
and
to me it just it seems like it changes every day exponentially, almost. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just like in this place where I'm like, oh my God, we're in a sinking ship, but like,
just keep playing music.
Yeah, just zone right out. Anyway, how's life? What are the things?
I was just remarking on how poor we are and that we can't afford groceries. And
so poor. Oh,
we went to Costco today.
Yeah,
it was pretty nice. We actually noticed
the $300 store.
Well, we got away at half off today.
Ooh,
yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Nice. That's rare.
We noticed on the way out though that their they're putting all kinds of new road marking safety stuff
Yeah.
at certain intersections.
Oh,
So we
interesting.
looked it up, and apparently there's this like traffic calming project that they're working on.
Costco specifically.
Sorry, no, this is on our way to Costco. This is what I noticed.
Okay.
In the
Traffic
neighborhood.
calming project. Okay, tell me more.
Well, the we came up to a regular intersection over here, and they had painted yellow cross hatching.
Yeah.
At the shoulder of the intersection, and then they around the perimeter of that they bolted down this rubber sort of curb looking thing.
Okay.
And I was like, it really just prevents someone who's turning left at the intersection from being beside someone who's also turning right at the same intersection. You know, sometimes that happens. You're first in line and you're going this way, but there's room for a car beside you, and they pull up, and now you can't see who's coming from the right anymore. That kind of shit. This intersection, I don't think that really applies because it's a pretty small intersection.
Okay.
But I've never seen these kinds of devices or materials being used to regulate traffic. One thing they said is they don't. I looked it up online, and this is all presuming that what I read was in fact the
accurate
answer for what we were seeing.
Sure.
They're like, one of the questions like on the webpage was, why not speed bumps? And and it was really funny the way they wrote it. It was like, yeah, we don't think speed bumps work very well. They cause damage to vehicles. A lot of drivers just speed up in between them to make up for lost time, and stuff like that. So it was interesting.
Yeah, it slows you down for that half a second, only to zoom you right back into until you hit the next one.
Yeah, the
Especially
only way it works is
neighborhoods. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say the only way it works is if they're close enough together that you can only get one vehicle length in between them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then,
in my mom's neighborhood, she's on a crescent, and the whole way around the crescent, because there's houses on either side, there's speed bumps, like I want to say every 5 seconds kind of thing. Like you go over a speed bump and then 5 seconds later, a speed bump. If I said, yeah. And I feel like all I hear are cars going like over and like rattling and
especially
making
shitty
sounds.
cars,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh boy, doesn't sound very good. And these people who live there have to go over sometimes, like 3 or 4 of them, on their way in and out every day. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting for sure, but I never really found them effective for that exact same reason. I would just watch people go over a speed bump and then chase the next one and fly over it, and
or like hit the
seems
outside,
foolish.
so only like half the cars going over the
Oh
speed bump.
gosh, yeah, I'm guilty of that for sure. If you can get in between the speed bump or only roll one side of your tires, that's the best.
I hate the speed bumps that have a sign attached to them in the middle of the lane side of the speed bump. Have you ever seen those ones?
What I'm picturing are
like those
a
little
long
rectangular
yellow post,
or that too, yeah.
Okay,
And
I've
they're all
seen
like
them
flexible,
blue and
so
yellow.
they'll knock down and come back up.
Yeah, there's they were super common in Ottawa, but the buses couldn't get by them, so they were just constantly running them over. And I was like, why would you
everyone parks on the sides of the roads?
Yeah, to try and stop the parking. But then I was like, but then the public transit can't get around them, so they're just running over them, and then eventually you have to replace that. Anyways, felt so silly. Poor planning. But then I mean, I've gone around them in the bus, and it feels very close in some areas. They're like really squeezing you in. So that does help slow you down if you're worried about damaging your vehicle. But
yeah,
if you're not,
yeah, fucking have at her.
Yeah, just ripping down the road. Yeah, I'm not sure. Apparently there's new traffic laws that have come out.
Yeah.
And read
Yeah,
about them
there
at
are.
all. I'm in denial.
I saw this a couple of weeks ago. Let me see if I can pull this up.
Also, is it true that if you have only your G1, you can't drive with other people who are under 8? Wow, how does that work? Maybe it's in the
I
rules.
don't know.
Because I remember at one time they were trying to reduce. I don't know what the motivation might have been, to be honest. But the outcome was that they had put in regulations stating if you didn't have your G license, so if you're just in a G1 or G2 situation, you couldn't have other people under 16 in the vehicle, I believe. I feel like I gotta look that up. Or is that what you're doing?
All right.
Okay.
So, key
Y'all ready for
driving law
this?
changes in July 2025. So, starting July 1st, this is
That's
the new
in like
Canada
3
driving
weeks.
law.
Okay.
So, school zone speed,
Yep.
time-based province-specific speed limits. So, the speed limit might only apply within a certain time window.
Totally.
The
Yeah.
new rule is standardized 30-kilometer limit enforced 24/7 nationwide.
30.
Distracted.
I've never seen anybody drive that slow.
Which
It's gonna be hard.
And this is a pretty classic joke, but it is also like optimum cruising speed for perverts.
Also, you could still do damage at 30 kilometer. Like hopefully, I think the point is you're going slow enough that you'll notice
like
an
you have enough time to
obstruction or a
respond.
person or something rolling out onto the road, like a ball or whatever, right? And yeah, you have adequate response time. But 30 actually means 40. Everybody's gonna go 40.
Yeah. The next one is distracted driving fine was between $250 and $400. Now it's going to start at $600. $600 for distracted driving.
So what counts as distracted?
Texting.
Yes, there's other stipulations that I've heard are part of that. Do
Let's
they
open
write
up
down
another
what it is?
tab, shall we?
Okay, I was gonna say what did they federally believe is distracted driving? So I don't want to say obviously, but like texting would be your numero uno. Like, can rhyme up a couple that I think would be included in that.
Texting, talking on the phone, or to passengers, eating or drinking, and using
passengers. Like if your kids are yelling at you.
Using the entertainment or navigation system.
Yes. Okay, so I don't want to say I recently learned, but anytime you have your eyes on a screen, even if it's the built-in screen on your vehicle, where you like choose your radio station and shit, if you were, I don't want to say caught, but like if they see you using that, that can be a distracted driving charge. Or like my watch will have notifications sometimes, or I'll use it for directions. And if you're not sure, like I'll like quickly glance at the watch and then look away.
Mm-hmm.
But I also noticed, and this is smart, and I'm sure that this was thought through on purpose, but the watch will like do a different series of like vibrations based on what the direction is. So if it's left, it'll go turn left.
Right.
If it's right, it'll be like like it gives me like 6, so it's like an obvious difference.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's different ones for like merging off the highway and merging on the highway, things like that. So that way you don't have to look at it. But I'm sure, as these features become more prevalent in all makes and models of vehicles, that it's becoming more and more of a problem, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Got people watching screens, not the road. And yet, I see people talking and texting on their phones while driving. daily.
Well, and that's what this
Daily.
like $600. So this is just Ontario.
But they have to enforce. That's part of it, right? So they can say this is the stipulation. I believe you also need to enforce it if you want it to like sting the way that you want it to.
Mm-hmm.
You being law enforcement.
Yeah. So there's I agree, and it's going to be a situation, I think, where a couple people get it that and it becomes a little bit more real, and you stop. So you're allowed to use
$650. What?
This
my
is from
dog's
the
vet appointment.
Ontario.ca site.
Okay.
It is illegal to use a phone or other handheld wireless communication device to text or dial. Use a handheld electronic entertainment device such as tablet or portable gaming console.
Right.
View display screens unrelated to driving, such as watching a video game or watching a video.
Oh.
And programming GPS.
Who's watching movies while they're driving?
I don't know. Other actions such as eating, drinking, grooming, smoking, reading, and reaching for objects are not part of Ontario's distracted driving law. However, you can still be charged with careless or dangerous driving.
Okay.
So I don't think you're going to get pulled over for eating a burger.
Right. Eating your breakfast sandwich. Drinking your soda.
Next one is the blood alcohol limit.
Oh, okay.
So it used to be 0.08.
Sorry, that was my drum roll. 0.08.
Now it's 0.05 nationally.
Whoa, and that's significant.
A good friend of ours, James, said 0.05, that's basically sober.
If you... Gosh, how could they? If you mouthwash with the right kind of Listerine, you can blow over 0.05.
Yeah, I guess just abandon your dental care regimen.
Yeah. Or buy the non-alcohol.
There's a pedestrian zone oversight. I'm not quite sure what that means.
Pedestrian zone oversight. Okay,
like
what does it say?
It says local municipal control, and then the new one is federal oversight in high-risk pedestrian areas. So my read on that is that local municipals control the speed limit in the pedestrian zones and the fines associated with breaking that. I would imagine. And then that means the federal oversight is they're going to look at these areas that are probably higher incident rates and do something about it. And then the next one is ADAS requirement, which is automatic something system. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, I don't...
Advanced driver assistance system, a suite of technologies designed to enhance safety, blah, 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 blah. So it's all your sensors
like with
and
the vehicles that parallel park themselves or self-driving.
So I don't know what ADAS requirements will be required.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like self-parking is not... maybe it is. Maybe there is an argument for it. To me, it feels like a higher perk that I don't want to pay for.
Okay.
But like the lane departure assist and the rear view cameras and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like they have to have some regulation on those things that are happening on the road. If you... And all of this is based off if you're in an accident with a vehicle while it is in autopilot, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what that is. And then it's like based on the mode, what mode they're in. You know, if they're in the middle of doing a parallel park automatically, and you're like, oh, it's not my fault that I hit the other car, right? Like, I think that's what they're trying to get after.
I don't think it has anything to do with parking.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just all the sensors.
I don't say that's a relief.
Park assist, rear collision warning, blind spot detection, emergency braking, pedestrian detection, collision avoidance, cross traffic alert. Park assist, I was wrong, I didn't see that. I'm assuming it's park assist. It says part assist.
Yeah, probably not part assist. We're not becoming mechanics. In fact, we're stepping away from that. I was just talking to...
And sorry, that's for all vehicles manufactured after July 1st need to have advanced driver assistance systems, including lane keep
Need to
assist,
have.
automatic emergency braking, and adaptive cruise control.
They have to have.
Oh shit.
That's wild. That's I don't want to say that's expensive, but that's all the companies have to step up
I
to
think it's
offer
pretty
this.
standard.
Is it?
I think so. I don't know.
Oh,
We could
okay.
ask Jordan, he would know. But
Yeah, like I'm thinking of like base models in a sort of entry level vehicle, like a compact SUV or something like that, because they don't really make sedans anymore. But yeah, what would that look like?
oh, here we go.
It's very interesting.
Previously, pedestrian zones were governed by municipalities, leading to inconsistent regulations. Now,
Okay.
areas with high foot traffic or frequent accidents will receive federal designation, allowing for uniform signage, crossing standards, and enforcement protocols.
Wow.
This is the stuff we need.
I feel
Commercial
like
drivers will face stricter monitoring too. Sorry, I apologize for interrupting.
I was gonna say I think it's important to have consistency.
I would agree. Now,
Cause
here's what would be interesting.
yeah,
You want to have national laws? Give me a
we
national driver's license.
yeah.
Stop making me change my fucking license every time I move.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
End of rant.
End of rant. No, I do think that that's very valid, especially if a person does travel or move frequently for their work. And then also for things like verifying identification for, various things.
Yeah.
I don't say you don't have to carry a passport, but like if you're within Canada, that can be like your identification that is, I don't say valid, I don't know.
No, yeah. It just I don't know. It was just a thought.
Consistency.
Yeah.
It's a big country.
So you can't use your smartwatch while you're
No.
driving.
No, I
That
cannot.
counts as distracted.
It is. I know this, but sometimes I gotta get places. What do you do?
July 1st.
Because you can't, like, I can't say I'm in a vehicle that doesn't have navigation system built in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they suggesting that that's what every vehicle should have, is a navigation built in? Or no, that's not part of it?
I don't think nav is part of ADAS, but
Okay.
again, yeah, we're gonna have to get into that now. I don't know.
I'm curious because, if you're navigating somewhere, the olden ways was to pull out a map.
Yeah.
How many accidents were those folks getting into? Let me wonder. Because you were looking at a piece of paper, and I'm certain people weren't all pulling over to whip out the map. You know
No,
what I
they're
mean?
pulling one of these fucking. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean,
Goofy
we've seen
movie
it in
style.
movies. Yeah, like on the steering wheel, right? And you're like, "Hello, let's do the
But I'm thinking of
the
vehicles that
trajectory."
don't have screens.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So do all vehicles have screens now? Is that part of that? Or,
No, because
vehicles that don't have
you could
screens?
have a GPS still mounted,
Yes.
and that could provide directions. You can have your smartphone mounted and use it
But
as
that's
a.
considered distracted.
No, you're allowed to use a GPS if
Oh, you
it's
can.
hands
Okay.
free. That's
I
what it says.
misunderstood. Okay.
You can't.
I misunderstood. So yeah, that's a relief. Because I'm like, people need to navigate to places, and if you haven't been, like, how are you gonna know where to go? And following road signs isn't a thing anymore.
No, they're so
It's
shitty.
so yeah, and it's because I think that they know everybody's got a GPS or a phone that will navigate to the place, and they're just depending on that.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
If you're using GPS while you're driving,
Yeah.
you're allowed to follow the GPS while you're driving. But what you
Okay.
can't do is program the GPS while you're driving.
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
So you can use voice commands if that's available to you. Otherwise, yes, you'd have to pull over, redo it all, and then
Do you
or
know
just
how
fucking
hard it
do a
is to
shoulder
do
check.
voice commands, bro?
Yeah. Sorry, what?
Have you tried to do voice
Oh,
commands?
yeah, no. Like when we had to go visit you guys on Quebec Street, turn left on Quebec Street.
You're like, this is the name of a province that is
Yeah,
clearly pronounced.
this is a pretty major pronoun in this country. It's
Yeah,
oh
Quebec.
yeah, you're right. It's
You're
wild.
like, are you just like, what are we doing here? Yeah,
I can't wait for the GPS. You know, you can like change the voices and the style of the person talking to you.
Mm-hmm,
So it's like
mm-hmm,
always someone polite and just in different accents.
mm-hmm.
But I want it to be like your old man or something like that. Oh, great, you missed a turn, you fucking jackass. Now I gotta pull out my map and reroute this for you. Turn left up ahead, idiot.
You want that?
I mean, I think it would be mostly novelty.
Yeah, I would turn it off
really
after
funny.
25 seconds.
Yeah.
I'd be like, shut up, you're so
People
rude.
would do it to like troll their family and friends, which I think would be really funny. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be novel, for sure.
Or, and this is like, I think counterintuitive to the whole thing, but like, one of the voices could be like last minute panic. Oh, turn left. You know what I mean? Something like that.
I was gonna say, one of the voices could be backseat driver.
Oh my god. Are we there yet?
Like,
are we there yet?
No, I was gonna say, like, aren't you gonna adjust your seat? Why are you sitting so close? Move your steering wheel up. Like, just shit like that.
Or you're turning right in 1.2 kilometers. You should move into the right lane.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in the right lane? Are you in the right lane yet? When are you going to move over? Yeah, that would be really funny. Because then they wouldn't be able to change the voice while they're driving. And if they don't have voice commands, they can't turn it off either.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, that's fucking hilarious.
Mute. Would you like to reroute to Mute Street? Yeah.
There was,
oh God.
man, this comedian, the guy with the stutter, you've heard of him, eh?
Maybe?
Drew something. If you ever heard of this and he heard me call him the stutter comedian,
the stutter comedian, you know,
Drew Lynch. So Drew Lynch.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah, and
okay,
he's doing like he's doing really great. His comedy is really good. It's pretty clean and it's also really clever.
okay.
He builds into things really nicely, and they're not crazy either. You don't have to pay attention to make sure you're following the nuances. It's good stuff. But he got on America's Got Talent, I think it was.
Okay, nice.
And he had a big stutter, and his stutter has improved a lot since. And I've heard things saying that the stutter is just part of his comedic character.
Okay.
But I hope that's not true, because then it means he lied on America's Got Talent and said he developed a stutter after getting hit in the throat with a softball, a baseball. He was a pitcher.
Was it a lie or was it a joke?
Well, I mean, he's pretty serious. And he seemed very emotional when he's telling the story.
Oh my God.
But who knows? He could be just talented.
I mean, if it's true, you would be.
I've seen
right?
Olivia without real tears like that for absolutely nothing. So
she's just an Oscar level actress.
It could be that none of this is true, and it's all true all at the same time.
Okay.
But his one joke was talking about how he wants to do the voice for GPS.
Oh my God.
Turn left into rerouting. It was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, genuinely. That rerouting.
Do you think new drivers today are missing out not having had to face the hardship of going places without immediate access to data?
MapQuest? You mean you had to print
You had to print shit out or write it the fuck
trajectory
down.
Or write it down and draw yourself a map if you didn't have a printer.
And hope.
Don't ask me how I know.
Yeah.
But
hope that everything fucking
I remember
lined up.
Going. My friend and I once, a couple of times, but the first time we went, she she gave me the address and she was like, okay, like, here's the address of where we're going. And I was like, no problem. I'll figure it all out. And I did exactly that. Like, there was also a time where like printing shit at home was like not that easy.
No, it
right?
was so expensive too.
I mean, the ink is still expensive, but like, I feel like it was just out of reach, and the ink would last you four pages of printing, and then it was like low ink again, and you're like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
So maybe that's where the economy is doing better, is that ink and printers are way more accessible. I don't know. But all that being said, we were going to visit her boyfriend, or well, she was going to go visit her boyfriend. I was visiting my cousin. Shout out to Steph. She lived in Guelph at one time, and she was like, here's the address to said boyfriend's house. And I was like, okay. And then I've got to route it from that house to my cousin's place. And then I was like figuring it all out. It was like a fucking Mission Impossible movie to set this all up. And I don't think people understand. Like, the best part of all of that was just being on the 401 for so long, but then getting off the highway and you're like,
what's
it's
the exit?
the dark.
What's the exit?
Yeah. What number is the exit? Which street am I going on? Like, you have to know which direction, east or west or north or south, whatever it is.
It didn't count down distances for you.
No, so, it would give like, you a number, like, continue on this road for 200 and whatever
kilometers. Well, that's it. Like, yeah, you're on the 401 for 76 kilometers. You're like, okay, cool. No idea how far that is.
Well, I would look at my odometer.
Oh, that's true too.
And then I would add if it was 76, I'd add 70.
So you could start paying attention.
So that, with 6 kilometers left, I'd be like, okay, like fucking totally white knuckling.
And did you ever like look down at your odometer? Because I realized I've done this too. But you look down at your odometer and you're like, I'm way past the number I was supposed to start paying attention at.
I feel like I'd get so close and I'm like, I'm bad at math, but like, am I that bad? Like 2 kilometers off could be a whole exit or more. And then I was like, if I don't get off at that exit, then I'm fucked. This is the part that people don't understand. If you made a mistake,
oh man,
you did not have the technology to fix it on the spot. You had to be lost.
Yeah.
And then figure that whole fucking shit out.
You get off at the next exit and hope to God that somehow they connect.
Right. Like, you hope that there's an on-ramp and you can just go back and like get off at the previous exit, but then your directions would be a bit reversed. But then if that wasn't possible, like, are you willing to take back roads at the next exit to try and shuffle back? Oh man, forget it.
Yeah, just an absolute nightmare. I guess we're not going.
We're just gonna get back on and go home.
Yeah, take the next U-turn.
Your question was, do I think people
like are they missing out? Yeah, because you can just get into a car now and go wherever you want with a reasonable belief that you're going to get to where you're trying to go to.
Totally.
Well,
and if you get lost or missed an exit, I don't think it's a big deal. I wonder how it will affect people's psyches, in the sense that, will they be more... In the situation I was just describing, if you missed your exit, you were, for all intents and purposes, fucked. Right? Unless you were good directionally, it would take you a while to like get back on track. But now, do you think people's threshold for those kinds of things is diminished because, you know, if my device isn't working or it's lost connection or whatever, I don't have an offline map, and I take the wrong exit and it doesn't reroute right away, is my patience so short because I've never had to experience, or I've never had to like use a greater threshold of patience in that same sort of scenario? I don't know. Do I think they're better off? Maybe not. Because without all of these things, say if something fails, or like I said, if you're offline or like in the woods like going up to your friend's cottage and you lose connection and you don't have a map anymore and it's just like a blip on a green screen. You're like, where the fuck am I going? How would you find your way in those scenarios if you've never done that before?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's something to be said about doing things analog, if not for just having something to fall back on. But I think overall, having access to this technology and not knowing anything else, I hope they feel like it's pretty fucking sweet. Like, I hope they recognize that this is really easy. Like, it's so easy, like you said, to just hop into a car and take off, go on a road trip.
Like, have they ever truly been lost? Other than, like, existentially,
Right.
we're all fucking lost.
Existentially. Like Stitch, we watch Lilo and Stitch, he's like, I'm lost. Anyway.
yeah, exactly. Like, without having that feeling of being like, well, I'm lost and I got to do something about it. Are you really like developing as a person? Like you said, can you find your own way?
Yeah.
Not knowing where you're going, can you figure it out? Are you comfortable or confident enough to do that?
Will you be all right?
Or are you like just gonna, I don't know, pray for some kind stranger to stop and help you?
Yeah, then oh gosh, then you have to use interpersonal skills, and those are tricky.
Yeah, like that's the nice thing about the internet age is I don't want to talk to people, and I don't have to talk to people. If I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I just avoid people.
Yeah, same.
Sometimes I have my headphones on, and there's nothing playing. It just most of the time it's because I put them on and I forgot to turn something on.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes you're just like, yeah, I like.
Sounds like such an ADHD move. Just sitting there with headphones on, nothing playing.
Because I turn the headphones on, and they're noise canceling, so it just gets immediately a little softer and a little quieter.
You're like, and I'm kind of like, nice.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice little come down.
It's nice.
What were you gonna say?
You were leading with something about.
Oh boy,
I forget now.
2 ADHD people walk into a bar. I forget the punchline.
Yeah, same. You know what? I don't want to say it doesn't. Oh, yeah.
Total pivot. I just took that as an opportunity to fit this in before we're done.
Sure.
So, Cassie's Opa passed away recently, and
rest in peace.
It's always nice to know when you can fall back on your local government to know that they've got your back.
Okay.
And they support you and they care for you and they're there for you in your moment of pain.
Are you reading something right now?
No, what this is all just off the top of my head.
Oh, okay.
Cheryl Gallant.
Okay.
Is the member of parliament for Renfrew, Nipissing, Pembroke.
Okay.
And on the occasion of Joe's passing, in your hour of needs, my thoughts are with you, Cheryl Gallant, on the passing of Joseph. So it was really nice for the family to get that card from Cheryl Gallant. The only problem is that it was addressed to Margaret, who is Joe's late wife, who passed away like 15 fucking years ago.
A long time ago.
And the MP, you know what I mean? Like when you already have little faith in your elected leadership.
Yes.
And odds are, dollars to donuts, super simple clerical error, right? Like, yes, obviously something didn't happen when it should have happened, and this is the result. She signed the card, but there's nothing pinging in her brain. Like, is this the right addressee kind of thing? And it demonstrates two things, though. Number one, like it makes it really hard to believe that they give a fuck about you.
Right, you're like, oh, but you got something very significant wrong.
Super wrong. And then number two, don't tell me that you care when you're going to let this kind of shit happen and then do nothing about it. I mean,
it could have been addressed to the family of.
Right. Super simple, like, I don't know.
Way less accident prone to say something like that, to write something like that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's and I don't know, like, I don't know how that sort of system works. Like, if it's because Joe was such a fixture in the community that she wrote the letter. Like, I don't imagine she does this for every person that's deceased
person, every
I don't know.
Like every obituary that goes through the entire, because she's Pembroke, Renfrew. Is it all Renfrew County? Like what area does she
it's Pembroke, Renfrew, Nipissing.
Pembroke, Renfrew, Nipissing. Okay.
But Pembroke, Renfrew, Nipissing.
Quite a spread.
Oh, it's just the electoral district. It's
like, so yeah, does she have somebody being like, here's another obituary, can we make a card? You know what I mean? Like, or is she sifting through every single one?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
it's weird.
What does that look like? I'm trying to picture, what does that look like in reality? And you're suggesting there's an element of, there's a lack of sincerity with that kind of
100%. Like, you guys don't care. The card is fucking, it looks like a Christmas card you get from your grandfather. It says your name at the top and then their name at the bottom. You know what I mean? There's no message attached. Like, there's
no like handwritten note.
Yeah, it's just the stock card message that you get.
Yeah.
And then she it looked like real ink. It looked like she did sign it. Assuming that was her signature.
She probably did. They slid it under a desk, signed this card, and then they shipped it out.
And I get it, but I mean, don't tell me you're busy. Don't tell me you can't take the time when you're getting shit like this wrong. You got to go back and you got to fucking, I don't know how you fix that either. It's not my business necessarily.
So this is a whole maybe other topic of conversation, but there are people I've come to realize in life that are people who try and do a good job of whatever it is that they're doing. And then there's people who could care less. Right? And there's probably a spectrum in between. But I feel like you kind of fall, if you split right down the middle, you fall on one side of it or the other, right? And like, maybe for some tasks in life in general, like, I'm not going to care as much about how well I fold my socks. Some people might put like tender love and care into folding of everything, including socks. But I'm like, this is where I'm going to let it slide. But when it's your government, there's, I don't want to say an expectation, but I think there is a level of,
it's like an understanding.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good word. That they are trying to do the best job possible. And so nobody should be in that sort of category of 50% and less don't give a fucks people. You know, you don't want those people in the government offices anywhere. And I don't want to say unfortunately, but statistically, there are going to be those people. And if that's I'm not suggesting she's this person, but if she is doing this frequently, then over time, people are definitely going to question her leadership, question her credibility, question her give a fuck about the whole thing. Like, why are you even here? And not just her. I think this is the case
in
in
every
any
workplace.
government,
In
any
workplace,
workplace,
probably
in
government
life.
especially.
Yeah. Were we talking about this? I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself again, but there was a list that they were talking about on the radio a couple weeks ago of like what makes a good boss and what makes a bad boss. And they went through and listed, what makes a bad boss. If I remember correctly, those things were like, will not stand up for employees, out for themselves, criticizes people, brings them down, does not communicate, does not share, important information with the right people at the right time, is just looking to better themselves.
Yeah.
And then, all the opposite things were true about a good boss. So somebody who's like willing to put themselves out there, who tries to put themselves in the employee's shoes, tries to be relatable, all of these things. And I think that whole series of like pros and cons about a boss are also indicative of who you want as a leader.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like if you're looking at this particular situation and using it to build your not your impression, but like
it's like an ideal example kind of thing.
Yeah, if you're like, if this is how this person behaves all the time, and this is like one example of like you got the letter addressed wrong. If she behaves like this on a big level where she's like making financial decisions for a huge area like Renfrew, Pembroke, Nipson, that covers a very large amount of like geographical area and a lot of people.
It's not Renfrew County, Nipissing County. It's just an electoral district, which includes parts of all those areas.
Okay.
Anyway, but it's still a large area.
But yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is like magnified that one example of like how she got the address wrong. Whoever it was, the clerical error, I don't know whose fault it is.
And that's the thing. It's not necessarily about fault, but it's like
it's like, are you repeating this behavior on a larger scale?
Yeah.
On a daily basis? Like, how often do these errors happen? And how often are they, we're human, allowed to happen? And then how often are they happening just out of pure lax behavior and don't care attitude?
You just tell me you're phoning it in without telling me you're phoning it in.
Yeah.
Just giving up.
That sums it up very well. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about this.
Anyway, that's probably a good spot to end it for tonight, I think.
Yeah. Next week I will gripe about the Ottawa social scene. A part 2, if you will, of last week's episode.
Yeah, just follow. Take note and tell me what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Is it boring? Is it not boring? Anyway, thank you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming.
Till next time. And toodles.